Welcome to episode 3 of Gotham City Radio. I have dragged Allie into this again. So hi, Allie.
Hi.
You got to pick today's episode.
I'm Cloud Argue.
No. Oh, okay. That's fine. Identity theft. I'm Cloud Argue. He's Allie.
I'm
and
Allie.
We're talking about Deathstroke.
Oh, we are. Before we talk about Deathstroke, I have a little mini game for you.
Okay, let me give the answer to last week's riddle of the week, and then we can get right into that. So last week, we introduced the riddle of the week, and the answer was a match. You have to answer and light the match before you can light anything else.
Oh.
And we'll have today's riddle of the week at the end of this episode, but let's get into your mini game here.
Okay, so this little game I like to call Made Up Villains. It's I went deep into the archives of all Batman villains ever, and I've created 4, and there's 5 real ones.
Oh boy.
So I'm going to ask you, I'm going to give you a name and a brief description of the character, and you have to determine if they're in fact real or if I made them up.
Okay, I'm excited. This is very goofy.
Okay.
I'm here for it.
First, we have King Snake, and I have right here in his description, expert martial artist and anti-communist.
I'm gonna say that's fake.
This is 100% real.
Really?
This is a real character.
I was like, no way. Oh my god, that's so funny.
King Snake is in fact, in some canons, Bane's dad.
What?
Yes.
I was so sure it was fake because there's King Shark.
Yep.
And I was like, no way King Snake is real.
So the funny thing about a couple of these is that I thought of a couple of stupid names, and then I looked them up, and King Snake was the one that I was like, there was no way there's going to be a King Snake. So I thought I made this one up, but it's actually real.
It really sounds like something you'd make up, because I was like, okay, you're just pulling my leg. That's a Metal Gear thing.
I know, yeah.
Not a King Snake, but I was so sure you were messing with me. Oh my god. Okay.
Okay, the next one here. This is a good one. The Birthday Boy. Birthday Boy is a serial killer. That's all I have written for him.
That's it?
That's it. It's a serial killer named the Birthday Boy.
That sounds real.
That is 100% real.
I was thinking about Calendar Man, and I was like, yeah, that sounds like something that would exist. They'd probably be friends.
That is 100% real, and in some canons, the first person that Batman ever fights.
What?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I did research.
You did.
I'm sure
you went deep.
If people are listening to this and they've done more research, they're probably right, but this is what I found from a quick Google search.
I'm here for a quick Google search. We're here. This section is for fun, not for serious informative.
Okay, the next one. This is Papercut. This is a corrupt journalist hell-bent on slandering Batman.
I think that one's fake.
You sure?
We already have a crazy journalist.
You are correct. Papercut is not a real villain. That is one I made up.
I'm so glad I got that one. Jack Ryder is our designated crazy journalist.
I was going to add something about this journalist also, like, just killing people, but I thought that, some Batman writers would just hate journalists.
Yeah, kinda.
Okay. This one. The Flesh Pile. A pile of sentient flesh, living in the sewers of Gotham.
What is this? Mystery Flesh Pit National Park? That's a real thing, by the way.
I know. I've been looking at those t-shirts. I really want one.
I do too. I have a need. Anyway, I'm gonna go with fake.
You are correct. This is the fake one. This is another fake one that I made up and is in fact not real.
Well, I was thinking my logic here. I feel like I have to explain my logic.
Let's hear it.
We have Clayface, who lives in the sewers, and he's made of clay, and he's a blob of clay. So I was like, there's no way there's another guy in the sewers.
I mean...
But there already is. There's Killer Croc. But anyway, that's off topic.
I knew that Clayface was a real guy. I did not know that he also lived in the sewers, so I may have had a drink when I thought of that one.
You know what? I want to see a story about that.
The flesh pit. I feel like...
Yeah, the flesh pit.
Okay, so far, you've got two... I think you only got one incorrect so far.
I think so.
Okay. I got another one for you. This is the Bad Samaritan. Ex-Soviet spy who sells information to the highest bidder.
That sounds real.
That is 100% real. Just the dumbest name possible, however.
The Bad Samaritan.
The Bad Samaritan. I couldn't have thought of a stupider name if I tried, and I did try.
No. I believe you.
The Bad Samaritan is 100% a real Batman villain.
That's horrible.
You're doing
That's so funny.
I know. It's probably my favorite one on the list. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got... Okay. I'm going to do this one as a double, and I'm going to see which ones you get correct. So you have, first off, the Rat Man, who is Bruce Wayne from an alternate dimension where he grew up in poverty, and the Cat Man, who is a world-famous jungle cat trapper turned to criminal. I want you to figure out which one is the real one and which one is the fake one.
I know Catman is real, but I don't know if it's that description, but I'm gonna say Catman's the real one.
That is correct. Catman is real. Ratman is not real.
Fun fact, Ratcatcher is real.
God damn it.
The thing is, it's like, you're so close to the real ones that it makes it a lot more difficult for me.
That was my intention. I wanted to try to make, like, ones that were a little goofy, but not that goofy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I actually want to read about Ratman now.
Poverty Bruce Wayne sounds fun.
It does. Make him suffer.
He's got the Ratarangs, the Ratmobile.
The Ratarangs. Alfred's like his weird uncle or something.
Okay. So we got two left.
Two left.
This one is Poison Oak. Poison Ivy's ex-lover in a comic from 2002.
That sounds plausible. I'm gonna say, yeah, that's real.
That is a fake one.
Damn, you got me.
That is the only fake one I've gotten you with.
I think it was the date.
Yeah.
You were so specific.
The date, I think, really sold it. Poison Oak is one that I made up. I made it up after looking at the list of villains and being like, wow, there's a lot of offshoots of other villains here. So, Poison Oak, Poison Ivy, I thought it would be a nice little match, excuse me.
I agree. I think that would be funny. They should be best friends.
They're ex-lovers from 2002.
2002 specifically.
9/11 really put a strain on their relationship.
Well, I mean, 9/11 just happened, so...
Look, I don't want to blame everything on 9/11, but it didn't help our marriage.
Well, especially if you're two plant-focused rogues.
I was initially going to have a much more in-depth description for Poison Oak. I was going to write that he was an eco-terrorist, which I feel like would kind of fit the vibe. I think Poison Ivy's been an eco-terrorist, right?
Yeah, that's like her whole shtick.
Yeah, when she's not doing weird plant-seducing things, she should definitely do more eco-terrorism.
She should be doing more eco-terrorism and less weird stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. The last one I have for you is Emperor Penguin. The Penguin's right-hand man.
I want that to be real so bad. I'm gonna say it's real because I want it to be.
That is real.
I'm delighted by this information.
So, congratulations. 9 out of 7. Pretty good.
7 out of 9.
Yep, that's actually what happened. Yeah, 7 out of 9. You can cut that out, right?
No, I'm keeping it.
You got 7 out of 9.
I am so proud of myself. I think I need to take a break from reading. Like, that's just sad if that's what I'm doing with my free time, which it is, constantly.
I mean, the only ones that you got wrong were Poison Oak and King Snake. King Snake, I kind of expected you to trip up on.
It just sounds like something you would make.
That's exactly why I picked it. I was going to pick King Cobra, who is also a villain from Batman.
Yeah, I know that one's real.
But I thought King Snake was objectively funnier, because his description did say, like, anti-communist. So I thought that was really funny to throw in there.
Well, and that's something that you would do also.
Yeah, I would do that. That one was kind of tailor-made for me. Poison Oak, I think, the other one you got incorrect was, I think it was just the year that threw you off.
It really was. I was like, well, you have a specific year. No way he's not real. And now I'm kind of sad that he's not real.
Poison Oak? I mean, who's the current writer for Batman? I'm sure we could submit the Flesh Pile and Poison Oak villain arc.
The Flesh Pile and Poison Oak, the next dynamic duo.
One thing I was gonna include was like a Robin type character, but there's been too many Robin villains, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd probably get that very quickly.
Yeah. So what do you think
I'm way more into...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just pay more attention to all of the Robins collectively than I actually pay attention to Batman, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of real. And speaking of Robin...
Hey!
The main focus of today's podcast is one of his rivals from the Teen Titans animated show.
The notorious Dilf, Deathstroke.
Yep.
Yes.
That's him.
I'm so excited.
I was going to start with DC's favorite warlock, because I've been looking at the D&D rules quite a bit. And have you seen the Teen Titans animated show?
Yes.
If you remember correctly, there is in fact a whole plot line where he like sold his soul to Raven's dad.
Yeah.
Who's just straight up a devil. Which is kind of textbook warlock.
Certified warlock behavior coming from this guy.
Listen, I am 100% the warlock expert. Deathstroke is 100% a warlock.
I like it. I can get behind it.
Personally, I think more villains need to be warlocks, because that's just dope.
Agree. 100%. No notes.
But that's kind of the end of his storyline, isn't it? That's a cat.
Yeah, my cat's here.
Guest appearance.
Guest appearance from Molly. I was going through Deathstroke's Wikipedia page, as you do, and in the Teen Titans Go movie...
Yeah.
Sorry, she's, like, pestering me. He just cross-dresses for no apparent reason.
I can't lie to you. I haven't seen the Teen Titans Go movie or the show. Could you elaborate on that?
So, I've seen Teen Titans Go. Don't recommend. Just watch the original Teen Titans. But in the movie, of course, he's still referred to as Slade because they're worried about, kids being scared, even though he's already terrifying. But he masquerades as a filmmaker, Jade Wilson, and is voiced by Kristen Bell.
Kristen Bell?
Yeah, like the lady from The Good Place.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know why he does this. but it's certainly a choice. Like, I'm sure it's played for humor, but every time I see like that happen, I'm just like, guys, that's gay.
That's pretty gay.
I mean, we all know. But still.
Does he know?
Not yet.
I think that Deathstroke growing up was because I started with the Teen Titans animated show. I didn't even know it was part of the Batman canon until like I was a little bit older. Or I didn't know it was DC at all.
He's way funner as like a Teen Titans Robin villain than he is as a Batman villain.
He's so menacing in that show. Like he's actually a threat.
Terrifying.
He's so menacing they don't even use his real name. They just straight up call him by his like given government name.
His government name, which I feel like it had the opposite effect they were hoping for, because, like, yeah, I get why Deathstroke might be a little much for a kid's show, but then you just call him by his name? That's worse.
I'm really happy he has kind of like an intimidating name and he's not just named like Brandon.
Brandon, no.
Brandon, stop mind controlling me, please.
Brandon, stop gaslighting me. Oh, wait, that actually works as a sentence. Sorry to anyone named Brandon.
I'm not. Anyways.
I know you're not.
So, one thing about Deathstroke in the show is he's voiced by Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Which, goddamn, how did they get him?
I don't know.
He did such a good job in that, too.
He did. He has, like, a crazy voice acting career, actually.
He does. It's just, he's also got quite a bit of range, surprisingly.
He's in The Last Airbender. Sorry, I'm, like, looking now.
Who is he in The Last Airbender?
He's, Sozin.
Oh my god!
I know!
Oh my god, he is! How did I not get that?
He must be a gigantic nerd, because he's in he's in Mortal Kombat.
Oh my god, who is he in Mortal Kombat?
He's in the Defenders of the Realm animated series, and he is, oh my god, he's Stryker? Oh my god. That's so funny. I hate Stryker.
Everybody's least favorite character.
I hate him so much, but that's still hilarious.
Stryker in Mortal Kombat. Weird tangent for a Batman podcast, but Stryker in Mortal Kombat is probably the most tone-deaf character they've ever had in Mortal Kombat.
Which is saying something when you have Johnny Cage right next to him.
Johnny Cage, I feel like the new Johnny Cage is a little bit toned down. He was definitely like, you know, the most likely character to get Me Too'd in like the earlier Mortal Kombats.
Oh, absolutely. He's kind of just a funny uncle I would probably enjoy hanging out with now.
Yeah, I like that about him.
He's funny. I'm gonna have to do a whole Mortal Kombat episode about Scorpion and Sub-Zero, because I'm unwell.
Scorpion and Sub-Zero. I will be part of your Mortal Kombat podcast, too, because I know a little bit about Mortal Kombat lore.
Excellent. I'm just gonna keep dragging you along on this podcast.
I love the episode's just gonna be welcome to this podcast, the Mortal Kombat episode.
Surprise, it's Mortal Kombat. I also want to do a Five Nights at Freddy's episode for Halloween. But anyway.
I will do how about we watch the movie and I'll give you my don't know anything about Five Nights at Freddy lore review.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Absolutely. Oh my god. Can you hear the dogs barking?
I can't hear the dogs barking, yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna wait for them to stop.
This is where all the good content is, too. Damn, it's a shame.
It is. At least they started in, like, a bit of a pause. Okay, I think we're good. What were we talking about?
Which time?
I don't know. Let's just get back to Deathstroke.
Okay, Deathstroke. There's something I want to talk about when it comes to Deathstroke, and this is kind of in connection with Robin. It's the weird obsession with giving Robin straight up trauma.
Yeah.
I kind of have a theory as to why they do this, but in Teen Titans, that theory doesn't really work as well. I think they're trying to do it to, like, make him contrast Batman, you know?
Yeah.
But
no notes.
Batman doesn't show up in Teen Titans animated show at all.
He doesn't, but I think it's kind of like taking it as a wider context.
Yep.
Usually once Robin, it's not specified which Robin it is, but we all know it's probably Dick Grayson. Once he leaves to the Teen Titans, he's having this huge, like, teen angsty rift with Batman, so I think your theory still works because he got kicked out, basically, or whatever it was. He got kicked out or he left because he's like, you don't know anything, Dad, and...
He stopped paying rent and then built a big T in the middle of New York.
As one does.
Well, actually, wait, where does that take place? I don't think it's in Gotham, is it?
It's not. Let me see. I want to say Jump City, but I could be wrong.
That's a dope name for a city, I can't even lie.
Isn't it? It's kind of awesome.
That's way better than Metropolis.
It is.
Jump City.
Jump City. Hold on. I'm scrolling so much. Okay, so the first one was in New York, then it's in California, and then San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
And also Bloodhaven.
Bloodhaven... Where the hell is Bloodhaven? That sounds like a D&D world. That sounds like... it's in Faerun.
It's kind of near Gotham, and that's usually Nightwing's stomping ground.
Could you imagine living in a place called Bloodhaven and not, like... The rent there must be dirt cheap, is all I'm saying.
It probably is. I think it's like Gotham, but worse.
Gotham, but worse?
Yeah, like, Gotham is very, goth? So, Gotham is very gothic and noir in how awful it is to live there. Bloodhaven is like industrial hell.
Oh, it's Detroit.
It's Detroit, yeah.
Oh god. It's just Detroit.
Yeah, if Gotham is New Jersey,
Bloodhaven
is Detroit, yeah.
What a great name.
Bloodhaven, yeah.
Bloodhaven, USA. Oh my god.
I'm so excited to introduce more of these fake cities to you.
Give me another one.
Star City, I think, is where Speedy, who is in Teen Titans, that's where he's from. Speedy.
Is that one of the characters from the other Teen Titans?
No, he's the
Speedy.
What is he? He's an archer.
Oh, okay, that guy. Yeah, that guy. The archer guy.
Yeah.
DC loves its archers.
It really does. Speedy is the sidekick of Green Arrow.
Right.
Which is a terrible name.
Green Arrow?
Yeah.
It's just me when I look at a compass.
Why is your compass green?
I just realized compass arrows are red.
Well, he does become Red Arrow.
Oh yeah, me when I look at a compass.
There you go. Now your joke works.
Now my bit works. Cut the other part where I said I'm on Green Arrow.
You're Red Arrow now. Actually, if I had to assign you a character, that would be it.
Red Arrow?
Yeah.
Oh man, does he do good bits?
He does do good bits.
And he shoots arrows.
Yeah. He's friends with one of my favorite Robins, so...
There is a lot of Robins. Alright, we were talking about Robin. Yeah, why do they keep giving him trauma? I have a theory. Let's hear your theory.
My theory is, it's not fun if they don't.
I mean... That's
kind of how stories work.
Yeah, but specifically when they do Robin, they give him straight up PTSD.
Yeah,
like he needs to spend a couple episodes in the show, like going off to a retreat, getting his shit back together. Anyways, remember that episode of Teen Titans where Robin betrays the fucking Teen Titans because he's being manipulated by Deathstroke?
Yes.
Is that not the best arc of the whole show?
It really is, and it hurts me so much.
He playing that little dude, the Red X.
Red X, yeah.
What a great arc! Oh my god,
it's so good. I think I need to watch it again.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's one of the best Robin stories, and probably the best Deathstroke story.
I think that Deathstroke, when he's not up against Batman, when he's up against a bunch of kids, is just objectively more menacing.
Yeah, and I feel like there's so much that I feel like abused kids can kind of relate to with how Robin is treated by Deathstroke, but that's a whole thing.
There's a little bit of older sibling syndrome going on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I gotta protect the younger ones. I'm not gonna reveal myself to all the younger ones to protect them. I'm gonna do some stuff that I wouldn't normally do.
Yeah, like you just keep so many secrets for the sake of what?
Yeah, that was a really interesting part of Robin's character in Teen Titans, is that he was just very obviously projecting Batman.
Yeah.
And he's not. The best episodes where you had Robin were the ones where he wasn't projecting. Where he kind of loosens up and opens up a little bit.
I think the best part about Robin in general is, he tries so hard to be Batman, but once he stops trying, it's so good.
Once he comes into his own, becomes his own person,
he realizes he doesn't have to be Batman, and then, of course, that's where the conflict in general comes from with him and Batman, and wanting to leave because Batman needs him more than he needs Batman.
And he's also way fucking smarter than Batman. He figured out, hey, if you kill a guy one time, he's not gonna kill a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I hate that that's a conflict that they never actually solved, because you had that one plot line where I can't remember the name, but was it Red Hood?
Yes it
where
is.
He's like, you have to kill me or the Joker. You can't pick, don't kill either. And then he just does anyways, which defeats all of the tension.
It's so frustrating too, because I think the best part of that conflict in general is that they're kind of both right. Yeah, you shouldn't kill people, but also, this guy maybe should be the exception.
Yeah, this actually has a really interesting parallel in Avatar, Last Airbender. I think we just talked about that.
Yeah.
Where you have Zuko and Aang is like, I literally can't be killing guys. That's not right. And Zuko's like, well, you gotta kill my dad. He's just gonna commit genocide if you don't kill my dad.
And then he finds a different loophole of taking his power away, which, yeah, okay, that works for that one. But you can't do that to the Joker. You can't there's no way to take his power away because the system is broken. Yeah,
that's, in theory, Batman's quote-unquote taking his power away is putting him in prison. But we all know that doesn't work. He keeps putting him in the same prison.
He just keeps doing it over and over and over, and then it's an endless loop, and I need to do an episode on the Joker.
Wait, didn't we already do an episode of the Joker?
No, we did one on the Riddler, and we did one on Batman.
Yeah. Every time we talk about Batman, it always comes back to, for me anyways, why doesn't he just kill people?
Yeah. It's like... I
why
feel like
doesn't he kill that guy?
It's such a challenge of, like, comic books as a genre, because all of these characters have been around for so long. Like,
yeah.
The OG villains and stuff, have been around for, like, 80 years-ish. So
when you establish tropes that are like, well, the character can't do this, that, or this, and it's like, okay, why? Like, why can't we change that for modern context? And we're like, okay, well, you know.
Yeah. And then they try and modernize it all incorrectly. It's very frustrating. Something I kind of want to talk about is... I wrote this down. I think it is so interesting, the difference in relationship between the first Robin and Deathstroke versus the second one, if you take into account Arkham Knight. Because Dick Grayson, obviously, going to the Teen Titans, fights Deathstroke on the regular. They're very clearly enemies. And then Arkham Knight, they are actively working together for... Really? Yeah. Like...
I have not played Arkham Knight, so I don't... Spoil it for me, let's see.
Okay, so... Jason Todd dies during the events of Arkham Asylum. The whole time that Batman's fighting above Arkham Asylum and dealing with the Joker's nonsense, beneath the asylum is Jason Todd being tortured by all these villains for... however long, basically. And Batman...
Which is a really annoying... Well, not annoying. It's a really kind of strange recurring thing, torturing Robin.
It is very strange, and it's kind of messed up, and it's always... Well, not always. A lot of the time it's Jason. He gets so much suffering.
A lot of times, they just straight up fucking kill him, too.
Yeah. Man. Okay, tangent, really quick.
Okay.
The original Jason Todd death was a vote by audiences whether or not to kill him in this storyline. And they voted, like, just barely more. They voted yes, so that's the version that went out. They're going to print the version of the story where he lives as, like, a reprint soon. I'm so hyped. You don't even know. I am so excited for that to come out. I need it.
You know, for being a guest on the Batman podcast, I really should start reading comics.
I need to start giving you better homework.
Yeah. I mean, my homework this time was make up fake villains.
Yes.
Which I thought was fun.
It was fun. I think we gotta make that a regular thing.
I think you should do for me next time. You should make up some fake villains. Because I definitely know a lot less about DC canon. I've obviously, like, seen some, like, I watched Batman animated series. It's mostly in cartoons. I don't read a lot of comics.
Yeah.
That's just kind of my preference.
I think that comic books in general kind of tend to thrive with the comic book genre and then also in animation. You can do it in live action really, really well, but I find that the cartoons do it better, generally speaking.
Here's a hot take. I'm not really that big of a fan of the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, and I think we should definitely do an episode where we review them.
Absolutely. I have so much to say.
I have a lot to say about them as movies, especially the last one. It's horrible.
It's so bad, and I have...
It's so bad it became a meme.
It's so bad I need to do a breakdown of why it doesn't make sense for Bruce as a character.
A lot of it doesn't make sense, not just for Bruce, but just for all of the characters. Like, none of the movie really flows well.
It's so bad.
Especially the opening scene on the plane. Like, that scene was so bad that it became, like, a straight-up meme. Like Bane on the plane.
Bane on the plane. Yeah. Yeah.
Bane is definitely... We need to do an episode on Bane and his dad, King Snake.
Absolutely. I'm here for it. Okay.
I think we should do an episode on King Snake. We should try to find as much King Snake information as we can.
You know what? I'll try and find him in my encyclopedia later.
Anyways,
So Arkham Knight.
okay, right. That's what we're talking about.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I had it in the back of my mind while we were going off. So Jason Todd is being tortured underneath Arkham Asylum, and there is this tape in Arkham Knight. You're very much in Batman's head during Arkham Knight, so you are like hallucinating the Joker, who is dead by that point because of the events during Arkham City, and through getting injected with the Joker's blood, now you're hallucinating him. It's weird. There's this scene where, like, in a memory, Jason gets shot by the Joker, but he doesn't actually die. It was Joker messing with Batman. And so this whole time, Jason is actually being manipulated and abused and tortured by all these villains to basically brainwash him into hating Batman, which is why he becomes the main villain in Arkham Knight.
It's also just a really common Batman plot for some reason.
Yeah, they did that in the animated series with Tim, too, who arguably is more of Jason's personality, but that's whatever. That's just my personal opinion. So yeah, Jason in Arkham Knight has this whole militia army that he's trained with the help of Deathstroke, who he has hired to help him, which is, like, insane to me. Like, I read the comic books, kind of the prequel to Arkham Knight, and they're, like, buddying up. They're just hanging out, and Deathstroke is looking after him, and I'm like, this is weird. It's so odd to see that.
Is he objectively a better father figure than Batman?
I mean, he has kids, and I think one of them has died, and the rest hate him, or something. So, no.
Sounds like a billionaire.
He's not. Actually, I wanted to get into something.
Let's hear it.
But, yeah, I just think it's really interesting how, just the difference between Dick Grayson and Deathstroke versus Jason Todd and Deathstroke. I think it's fascinating. In some canons, I think Deathstroke helped train Jason when he went away to after he got brought back to life with, like, Ra's al Ghul and all that stuff. It's deep, deep lore. But, I think will find this interesting. The war that Slade Wilson got involved in as kind of his origin story, he was in the Korean War. And I feel like you will find that, yeah.
That is interesting. Especially for newer, like the more modern you adapt something, the farther away history gets away from us, right? So if he's a Korean War vet in, like, Teen Titans animated series, which would imply a lot of things about the real world. That's also a really interesting thing about involving real world in your fantasy comic book.
Yeah.
Is, like, there's a lot of real world implications. Like,
yeah.
Excuse me.
So
a guy being in the Korean War implies a lot about America, Korea, China, the state of the world.
Yeah.
And the Korean War was kind of forgotten, which I guess as a character, that makes sense that was the war he was in.
He enrolled when he was only 16, and he, like, straight up lied about his age. And so when he was introduced, like, the first time, December 1980, so that's... I don't even know. I feel like I'm proving your point. Like, I don't really know.
It's about 30 years already, so he's only, like, 45 in the first introduction.
Yeah.
But by the time you're getting to, like, modern stuff, if we're to assume that it takes place in the same timeline, like the 21st century, he's already just like an old guy. He
is an old guy. And then he also gets into the Vietnam War too.
That's a lot of, well, not a lot of, I think some people that did just happen to them. They were like career soldiers and then just were enlisted, got sent to both. It wasn't super common because those wars were like 10 years apart. almost 20 years apart by the end of the war. So, it's beginning and then end of your career, I guess. I'd imagine it would be a lot of like support and like back end roles.
In the Vietnam War, he just did war crimes.
That's
which is like sounds about right. Actually, I don't know.
Was he kind of made in response to the Punisher? I've kind of had that feeling that they were always a little bit similar characters.
Let me see when the Punisher was created, because I know that Deadpool was created to parody Deathstroke,
which is kind of not I feel like modern Deadpool, the only thing it's parodying is the look.
Yeah, it's the look and the name, basically. And then also they both have that very fast healing ability. That's something they both have.
I always thought that Deathstroke was just a regular guy. I mean, like, in the Teen Titans, he does heal, but it's because he's actually a skeleton man. He's a warlock, and just like warlocks at level, I think it's level 2, they get that ability where they can heal by killing people.
Okay, so Punisher first introduced February 1974 in Amazing Spider-Man 129, so he very much could be kind of doing that. I don't know if it's true, but it's a possibility considering publication dates.
That's a pretty interesting way. Punisher's kind of like this anti-hero, right? Kind of just a villain.
Yeah.
That's up for debate. A little bit of a villain, a little bit of a hero. Deathstroke's just straight up villain.
He is. He's questionable.
But basically the same context that they,
Yeah.
Not exactly the same. I don't think Punisher was out committing. Well, I mean, war crimes are pretty broad.
Well, it doesn't really say if he specifically was involved, but it says his unit just like straight up killed an entire village, and he was like, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
He said, "What the heck?"
Yeah, and then he got put into an experiment, kind of a la Captain America. Yeah, pretty much. He got Captain America.
That's such a great way to just give your character powers. I can't even lie. The Captain America method.
So perfect.
Whoever wrote that there's just a serum that people can get. So perfect.
So good. And I want to do an episode on him and Bucky one day. So bad.
Oh. Okay. All right.
We're getting into deep lore. But yeah, so he's just kind of a messed up dude.
Which guy? We talked about a lot of messed up dudes.
Deathstroke is the messed up dude.
Yeah, messed up guy. You kind of got to be messed up to straight up take a demon pact. Yeah. Is there any other like media where he does that? Where he just is, hi, I'm selling my soul. Because that for a character like that is kind of nuts. There's kind of this idea that like he's a little bit more grounded. He's just like a regular mercenary, but then he sells his goddamn soul.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't fully know. Most of what I know about him comes from Judas Contract, which is kind of nasty, depending on which one you read or watch. It's overall like a really good story, but the animated movie adaptation makes it really, really gross with having him do stuff with Tara, who's a literal child, and I'm like, no.
Gross.
That's just nasty.
Tara is played by Ashley Johnson in the Teen Titans animated, who you might recognize that name.
I do not.
Ashley Johnson plays Ellie in The Last of Us.
I haven't watched The Last of Us.
That was in the video game. She was in the video game for that one.
I haven't played it either.
Damn. She's what else is she? She's in some other stuff.
She's in other stuff.
Tara, I think, is also a really interesting character. The reveal that she's just working with Slade gets me every time.
It's so heartbreaking.
I shouldn't have, like, as a kid, you know, as like an 8-year-old, I was like, what? No way. But as an adult, it's kind of easy to see that plot twist coming.
Yeah. It just, I'm thinking about when I first watched it. Oh, like, so upsetting.
Yeah. What we could have had there been another season.
And we never will.
We never will. Wasn't it teased at the end of a movie or something and just never happened?
Yeah, probably.
Like at the Teen Titans Go movie, they like teased that they were bringing back the animated series and they just never did.
Probably. That movie came out in 2018, I think. Let me double check that.
Also, can we talk about the best arc in Teen Titans? Which is the one where everyone just gets frozen. There's like 5 of them left.
I don't remember that. I may not have seen it.
This is it's a Beast Boy arc, actually. It's the one where so basically what happens is all of the Teen Titans basically quote unquote die, and Beast Boy is the last one left. And there's like 5 Teen Titans total left because they've been recruiting kids all over the country or over the world, I think, even. And at the end of this arc, it's like Beast Boy has to lead like this crack team of like misfits.
Oh, that one, yeah.
That one, like, that, as a kid, I remember watching the episode where they all like die, and I'm like, oh my god, they're dead. Because I was a kid, and I was like, wow, death is permanent, and they're all dead.
Wait till you learn about comic books and how no one stays dead ever except for Uncle Ben.
I'm well aware of like the comic book rule that even if you see someone die, they're never really dead.
Yeah. Hey, sorry, not related. I'm just crossover event. Deathstroke is in a Mortal Kombat game.
Which is it? It's
the one where you can Mortal Kombat versus DC, which is
right.
Terrible. It's so, man, I hate that game.
That was the one that came out right before Mortal Kombat 9, I think, right?
Probably. It came out in 2008.
Yeah, so that was right before Mortal Kombat 9, which is excuse me.
I'll cut that out.
Cut that.
I'll get that out.
Actually,
cut that.
Don't cut that out. Leave that in.
Okay.
Leave it in. Someone remix that.
What am I? 3 audience members?
Yeah. So, what were we talking about? Mortal Kombat 9?
Yeah.
Another Mortal Kombat tangent. Mortal Kombat 9 was one of the best games I've ever played. I spent so many hours playing with my friend. I'm not good at Mortal Kombat, but I love playing it.
Me too. I love it so much.
I love the story of it. It's so stupid.
It is so stupid. I love it.
It's really, really dumb, and I really like that they made... I love Injustice, too, when that came out.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna try and download Injustice 2, and then I saw that it has, like, spyware in it now, and I'm like, what?
Oh.
Yeah.
God damn. I remember the Injustice storyline was, like, the Superman is evil storyline, which I kind of love that. That's one of my favorite ideas for Superman, is that he's just evil now.
It's so funny, because the thing that made him evil was the Joker kills his wife, and
That's so yeah, he kills Lois, right?
He kills Lois, so Superman has to be the one to kill the Joker, which is hilarious.
Which, like, why doesn't he just do that anyways? I mean...
Yeah. I guess because it'll turn him evil and make, like, a fascist state.
That also kind of misunderstands the character of Superman. Like, I love that plot line, but it does kind of misunderstand that Superman as a character is more than just Lois Lane. He does love humanity more than just one person.
Yeah, it's kind of like I think there's a parallel to be drawn between Injustice Superman and that plot line with Captain America, where they just casually make him a Hydra agent.
Oh my god.
It makes me so
stupid
upset.
Fucking plot line.
It makes me so mad because it's like, it's always the characters. I mean, first of all, it's important to note that a lot of the original comic book characters for a very, very long time are made by Jewish people. So there's that, and how Superman's supposed to be this allegory for being a Jewish immigrant in his origin. And then you just go and make him do that. You go and make Captain America do that when he was created by Jewish people. I want to explode you.
It's just such a gross misunderstanding of the characterization.
And it's blatantly disrespectful. It makes me so mad.
It'd be like if Spider-Man did... It'd be like if Spider-Man was in Hydra.
I hate it so much. Don't do that.
Get us an episode where Spider-Man's in Hydra.
Worse than making either of those people do that. But whatever.
Yeah. I think that we need an episode where Spider-Man is Hydra. Is all I'm saying.
Spider-Man is Hydra?
Yeah, also famously a very Jewish-coded individual.
Yeah. Yikes.
I forgot to say that because my microphone was muted for a sec.
Whoops.
Yeah, I just, they don't really, sometimes people get to write a story and they don't understand why that they are, or what they're writing about, or who they're writing about, I mean.
Yeah, they don't, I think also there's no understanding of the context in which the character was created, which I think shapes why the character is the way they are. That's why I even talk about characters like this.
Yeah.
Like, it matters that comic books came from where they did. I need to do a whole breakdown of it because it matters.
Elaborate.
It matters so much when, like, I don't like how comic books are treated just in general. I mean, it's kind of changed in the last 10 years or so, granted. But, like, comic books were a good way for Jewish men, usually, to get employment because they wouldn't be allowed in other areas of work. That's why you also see, silent movie stars and directors also largely being Jewish. Like, it makes such an impact in the real world, and then it's also, like, fundamentally Jewish stories that they're trying to tell, because, I mean, take Captain America, he was created because, up to that point, in the war, he was created during World War II, America was just, like, not gonna do anything about anything. They were turning away Jewish immigrants, which I think gets swept under the rug a lot, and I don't know what Canada was doing, but probably also very similar, but...
Yeah, we have a long history of turning away people that need to be accepted.
Yeah.
As well. Specifically, my people.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, I believe it. Like, we're not good either.
No, we like to pretend that we hold some moral high ground, but we're just as deep underwater.
Yeah, we're awful. Just awful.
That is a topic for another podcast.
Yeah, that's...
the horrible state of Canadian and American history.
I would love to do a history podcast, alas.
Oh my god.
Ugh, man.
That's your Roman Empire. I think that he is a good character. That's just a statement. No, I really like the way that he was handled in the Teen Titans show. We actually didn't talk about it a lot, but I like how he's threatening and actually scary in that. And I think he should be allowed to be more menacing, because every time he's up against Batman, he's kind of a non-threat, you know?
Yeah, he kind of has his, he works best against, Dick Grayson.
I also think that he's interesting in, like, the context of... I know it wasn't him, but in Suicide Squad, they have two characters that are basically identical to him. In the original one, they had the guy played by Will Smith. I don't think it was Deathstroke.
That was Deadshot.
Exactly. The exact same character. That's like the exact same thing.
It's so similar, except Deadshot has a gun instead of swords, and is actually just a normal dude.
I mean, Deathstroke, doesn't he also have a gun?
He does also
I'm
have
sure
a
he
gun.
can find a gun. Stop being a fucking goofy man. Get a gun. You're an adult.
You're an adult and get a gun.
Seriously, I think that they should have just put Deathstroke in the Suicide Squad. He's a violent man. He should be allowed to A, have an anti-hero arc, and B, be violent, because a character like that is inherently violent.
Yeah, he's crazy. I love it.
And every time you're up against a Batman, you're not going to be allowed to commit like violence like that. You're going to be relegated to like, oh, I knocked out this guy, and no, I want to see him cut a dude's head off with that sword.
Yeah, you're right. He should be in Suicide Squad. Okay, if you were to... You asked me this last time with the Riddler, but now I'm going to throw it back at you. If you could write a Deathstroke story, what would it look like?
Oh, man. If it was me, there's one of two things I would do. First one is like, he would kind of just be like an international mercenary as opposed to just trying to fight Batman for some reason, and end up against a group like the Suicide Squad by virtue of just they're paying him the most, because he's a mercenary. That's what he should be doing. I think you could have an interesting redemption arc where he's like, well, I'm killing too many innocent people. I'm going to side with the good guys, or the quote-unquote good guys for a little bit. Or I would full-on go into that Warlock Pact, because there is so much you can do with the straight-up Warlock Pact. Give him magic. Fucking make him like a Hexblade Warlock. He's got a sword. Let him use magic and a sword. Why can't he do both? Give him a Demon Pact. Again, you could go both ways. You could make him an anti-hero, or you could just make him a villain who has a demon and a sword.
That would be so cool and so terrifying.
I honestly think that should be just a part of his character in canon now. Like, yeah, I have a demon.
Yeah, because I don't...
Like, that's so cool!
It is cool. We should do that more.
We should summon more demons.
We should summon more demons. That's today's lesson.
I think that there's so much potential behind this character that I mean, granted, I don't read a lot of comics, so I can't say for sure if they're like really fulfilling that potential, but it just kind of seems like he's just a guy with a sword, and maybe he tortures a guy, or maybe he traumatizes Robin, but there's so much potential for, like, history has so many mercenaries in it, and he could just be a dude who's going around for the highest bidder.
I've read some of his solo...
Also has demon powers.
I am fully advocating dragging more demon powers into it, but also his solo runs, granted I had to read Rebirth, and everyone has different opinions on every reset that DC does. I don't want to hear it. That's the one I read, and man, it's boring. It's like reading a solo Batman comic now. It's just not interesting. Give him someone cool.
Like, Marvel, they have the Deathstroke parody in Deadpool. I don't think that's what Deathstroke should be like.
No. Not
at all. He's a serious fucking guy. Like, he's very serious.
He's very serious. He's in, like, I feel like there's a very strong potential to kind of go in like almost a thriller horror dimension with his character just because of how he is.
Yeah, and also, like, you could have him... You could do that in both respects. You could be because he's a fucking psychotic murderer, or because he's got a demon pack. That's terrifying. The implications of that are actually scary, and they touch on that a little bit in the Teen Titans show, when they show that he's just a skeleton now. What's up with that? He's a skeleton.
A whole skeleton in there. Like, you could turn it into, like, slasher adjacent. Like, not full slasher.
Oh, that would be good.
Man, that would be so good. I want to see that now.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I'm not the best person to write for Deathstroke. I've only seen him in one thing. But I think that they really need to do something, like, cool with him. They need to give him more warlock powers. That's my hot take.
More warlock powers for Deathstroke, I think, is definitely the major takeaway here. I'm just picturing, like,
I want to see him eldritch blasting.
I want to see, like, sword on fire type of... I don't even know.
Yeah, like, give him, like, a sword that can steal souls or something like that. That would be
sick.
Like, it doesn't just kill you, like, it sends your soul to hell.
Go to the Shadow Realm.
Exactly. Like, it's not just a threat in that, your mortal life is at peril. Your immortal, your afterlife is in peril, too.
Man.
Which is, there's so much more stakes to that.
Man.
I'm sure that there is, like, an afterlife in DC, right?
Yes.
Is hell canon?
I think so. I think there's demons.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, there's just demons, and he's known to hang out with one of them.
He could get into some crazy stuff, like, get him to fight a demon.
Yeah, get him to become a demon.
He becomes a demon,
as soon as
he turns into Scorpion Mortal Kombat.
Whoa, that's actually a great idea.
That kind of idea, like, it's good. It works.
Once you introduce demons into your semi-grounded character, there's so much you can do. Like, he's a villain, and he's in league with demons. I know I keep saying it.
It could be so good.
But that's so cool.
It could be so good if you put, like, I know we complain about putting him against Batman, but if you put him against Batman, who doesn't typically deal with supernatural threats, and he's not expecting
that would be cool.
A Deathstroke to be a supernatural threat? Like, terrifying.
Yeah, give him a soul-rending sword and have him kill, like, I don't know, who's a Commissioner Gordon or something.
Commissioner Gordon, no!
And then, I don't know, he's like relatively low-stakes character that you can kill, I guess. Like, not many people have super strong attachments to Commissioner Gordon, right?
He's kind of beloved.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah, you could go after him.
I mean, like, story-wise, what does he do? The paperwork?
Pretty much.
He turns on the light? Have Deathstroke literally condemn his soul to
for no reason. Honestly, get him to kill Alfred.
That would be a good one.
And fuck with Batman's head. And
then have a plot line where Batman has to go to hell to, like, get him out. He's like, okay, let's get out of hell.
Then call in, like, Dr. Fate or somebody. Or Constantine. And just field trip to hell.
Ooh. Wait, hold on. Has there never been a Batman Constantine episode?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh my god. What? See, okay. You know what? Now that I remember John Constantine is DC, here's how I would write this. Deathstroke makes a pact with a demon. Batman is just, like, categorically losing to this guy because he has demon powers now, cannot be touched. His body's made of shadow, so he literally can't punch through him. Deathstroke's going around collecting souls for an unknown purpose. Batman has to hit up John Constantine.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, please help me. There's ghosts and demons, which I don't really know how to deal with. Constantine is like, sure, but I'm not like a super martial guy. I can't beat the shadow demon. They both go to hell and destroy the source of his evil, which is Raven's dad, whose name I can't remember.
Trigon?
I thought it was Clevlor or something like that, but I might have been playing too much Baldur's Gate 3. Been.
I think, that sounds like such a good story now, though. Ugh, DC, hire us.
That's the basic outline of that. And we'll put some other characters in there, too. I don't know. Harley Quinn's in hell, maybe. I feel like she's kind of the most popular DC character.
She's pretty hot right now.
She's like top 3 for sure, right next to Batman. But yeah, that's how I would rewrite it. How would you rewrite it?
I like your idea. I just like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I also think it would be very interesting to kind of exploit what I was mentioning earlier was how the relationship between Dick Grayson and Jason to Deathstroke is very different. I feel like that could turn into a very... maybe Deathstroke does something that's kinda... he has all these crimes behind him, right? Maybe he has a Jack Sparrow moment and does something good.
Oh, okay.
But, Nightwing catches him, and then there's this whole explosive thing between the two brothers about, well, we should let him go, or what they should do with him. I think that could be interesting.
I think there's definitely potential for him to have anti-hero arcs, because he's kind of if he's compared to the Punisher, which he is kind of directly made, I feel like, as a comparison to the Punisher, then he's got room for anti-hero arcs, which most of the villains in DC do, because I feel like they're inherently made that way to be not super evil.
There's this weird thing I notice in DC, and granted, I mostly pay attention to Batman stuff, but I've noticed it with The Flash too, where, there's a factor in these villains that's, their villainness is kind of out of their control to a degree, and so it's more like they need help, as opposed to, the Lokis of the world, where you just need to drop kick them into the sun and then it'll be fine. I don't know why I picked Loki for that, because he gets a really good redemption arc.
And then you oppose him to a guy like Deathstroke, who's kind of totally in control. That's actually, his character is a little bit based around how much he can control other things. He's kind of a control freak.
He's, very aware of what he's doing, which puts him in a weird position in the DC universe, I feel like.
I agree. I definitely think that Deathstroke is maybe a psychopath, maybe a sociopath. I don't remember the difference. He could maybe actually be classified as one of the two.
There's a decent chance, especially when you throw yourself into 2 wars at the age of 16. There's something going on in his brain that's not good.
I mean, you definitely have just American exceptionalism propaganda when you're that age. You're I'm going to join the war. And then some people are just shoved into that role. They're hey, I'm a career soldier now. And there's definitely something to be said by, that America doesn't really know how to treat veterans when they're not veterans or when they're not soldiers anymore.
Absolutely true. And...
which is just kind of what happens with the Punisher. He's this is what I know how to do. This is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it's I'm good at this thing. I'm going to keep doing the thing.
And that's, I guess, the same thing with Slade, except he just kind of does some weird evil shit. He doesn't just do mercenary stuff.
He goes and gets a little extra enrichment.
He's not just a mercenary.
He's not other girls.
Like I said. Yeah, I'm not like other girls. I'm a mercenary.
Exactly. He needs that money. Get that bread.
And that's just Deadshot. That's just his character.
Yeah.
Which, it's the same character. Why do they have Deadshot and Deathstroke? What's the point? I feel like they didn't want to compromise Deathstroke's character by giving him a redemption arc, so they just made Deadshot.
That's probably true, because, Deadshot has that good relationship with his kid. Meanwhile, Deathstroke thinks everyone is an idiot, and even though he like, loves his kids and wants to be close to them. He freaking sucks as a father.
Oh, actually, Deadshot was a character before Deathstroke.
There we go, then.
Which makes even less sense.
Maybe they just wanted to be... Maybe they wanted to corrupt Deadshot, but they were like, no. We gotta make another guy. Actually, that's... Well, that might not be true, because he was specifically created for Teen Titans, so...
That might be... Yeah, that might be it. Just the Teen Titans. Yeah, okay.
They needed a guy.
They're like, what if Deadshot had a sword and a gun?
He's got a sword, he's got a gun, he's got a stick.
He can cast 2 spells per day.
He's got
short rest.
Some swanky pirate boots. He has a collar for some reason.
I think more DC villains should just wear chokers.
I agree.
All I could think of was the choker.
Yeah.
I'm the choker, baby.
Oh, man.
Oh, God. I should have made that one of the fake villains, the choker. The thing is, when you make fake villains for DC, there's like a 10% chance that the stupid name you already thought of was already there.
That's the curse of having a company be around this long.
Yeah. I mean, come on. King Snake and the Bad Samaritan? That sounds like a really bad punk band.
It does. I'd listen to it.
King Snake and the Bad Samaritans.
That's like the Susie and the Banshees, but you don't want to get copyright striked.
It sounds like they're like a pop punk group that I would not hang out with if I was underage.
Oh, you mean All Time Low?
That's a bad joke. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, yeah, that's how I would rewrite Deathstroke.
I like our version better, which tends to happen. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to leave you all with the riddle of the week, which I made this time. I wrote this one myself in about probably 2 minutes, so that can speak to the quality of it, but You'd
make a great DM.
It's got rhymes in it and everything. Okay, so here's your riddle. I'm not made of charcoal or clay, but children use me to draw and play. I bring color to their day, and in an emergency, I can light your way. What am I?